There are moments in the story of humanity that do not announce themselves. They don't arrive with warnings. They don't come with consequences written in advance. They begin quietly, with curiosity, with ambition, with the simple desire to understand more than we should. And over time, that desire grows. It stops asking for permission. It stops questioning limits. Until one day, humanity reaches a point where it no longer asks, "Is this possible?" but instead asks something far more dangerous. Why not? And this story begins at that exact moment. Far in the future, the world no longer looked like something built by human hands. Cities no longer touched the ground. They floated, suspended above the clouds by immense energy systems that pulsed like artificial hearts. From a distance, it looked peaceful, perfect. Soft light flowed between structures like rivers in the sky. Vehicles moved without sound. Technology had advanced so far, it no longer felt mechanical. It felt alive and scattered across the sky, barely noticed anymore, were symbols, ancient, glowing, slowly rotating as if they followed rules no one fully understood. Once they were studied, feared, questioned. Now they were simply accepted, because humanity had learned something extraordinary. Magic was never a myth. It was just science, waiting to be discovered. Over time, the line between science and magic disappeared. Equations replaced incantations. Machines replaced rituals. But the source remained the same, a force woven into reality itself. And as always, once something could be understood, it became something humanity wanted to control. Energy was controlled. Matter was controlled. Even life was extended beyond natural limits, and eventually they reached for something greater, something they were never meant to touch. Time, beneath that perfect world, hidden from the light above, was a place that carried the weight of that mistake. A lab, forgotten, sealed away, left behind. After something went wrong, not just a failure, a fracture, a moment where reality itself stopped behaving the way it should. Inside that lab sat a man who refused to let that moment end. Kael Virex, once celebrated as one of the greatest minds of his time, now just a shadow surrounded by memories. Time had moved forward. The world had forgotten, but Kael hadn't, because for him, the story never ended. It paused, and somewhere in that pause was the answer. At the center of that unfinished story was her, Lira. She wasn't defined by her role, not a scientist, not an assistant. She was something far more important. She was the balance where Kael saw equations. She saw meaning, where he pushed forward without hesitation. She asked the questions he avoided, and somehow that difference made them stronger. Because she didn't just understand his work, she understood him. The day of the experiment felt like a breakthrough. Years of failure had led to this moment. For the first time, everything aligned. The calculations stabilized. The energy held. The system responded exactly as predicted. The Chrono Rift engine was no longer theory. It was real at first. It was beautiful. A subtle distortion in the air. Light bending in impossible ways. Time slowing just enough to be seen. For a moment, it felt like they had done the impossible. Like they had reached beyond the limits of existence and succeeded. But then, something changed. The readings shifted. Not randomly, deliberately, as if something was responding. The machine wasn't just opening a rift, it was being answered. And in that moment, everything broke. Time didn't explode, it stopped, completely. And in that silence, she reached out. Kael, and before the moment could finish, she was gone. No destruction, no trace. Only absence, and absence is not the same as loss. Loss has an ending. This did not. 5 years passed. The world moved forward, but Kael stayed behind, searching not for answers, but for mistakes. Something reality got wrong. Because if reality made a mistake once, it could be undone. And then he found it. A signal so small, it shouldn't have existed. At first, it sounded like nothing, but truth doesn't arrive loudly. It whispers. Kael, and somewhere beyond time, beyond reality, beyond everything that should exist, she was still there, not gone, just waiting. And the moment Kael chose to believe that was the moment everything began to break again.